It was there on cases of temptation. It was there to wag its finger at us more or less reprovingly when we used bad words. Actually, there was something that was another kind of parent, something that would correct our faults, protect our virtues, and be there when most needed. So we began to think about it a little bit, and finally we gave this thing a name. And I think that probably this name problem is the key to the whole thing. We said that the guardian angel communicated with mankind through conscience, that some mysterious way, conscience was a being, an entity, and that entity was constantly there to help. That somewhere in our known natures there was a realization of good and evil that was superior to dogma, theology, or the vicissitudes of an inconsistent economy. Somewhere in us there was something that said, oh, don't do it. Or on another occasion, you can't say that, it isn't true. And if you go against this guardian angel, they said that it wept. Well, conscience weeps. Because sometimes conscience weeps for a lifetime over one mistake. We do not get over completely the evils that we commit or the problems that we cause for other people. And we can't hide it from the guardian angel. And how could we hide it from our own conscience? Therefore, in many ways, it would appear that the guardian angel is a symbol and an embodiment of the power of the human soul. That in the soul is something that is born with us, that with us all our lives, that God grows up with us, and after death goes on to testify to us. This sort of made us a bit of sense with some of the more modern constructive psychotherapists, that in a mysterious way there was something. That there is something in each individual that is better than the rest of him. It is not fair just to simply call it God. It is too abstract. It is true that God bestows life and is the final source of all. But the good life seems to come to those who make certain additional contributions to their own salvation. The good life is for those who some way find a way of truth in the midst of all these difficulties. So the conscience becomes the symbol for, as it says in Hamlet, for conscience doth make cowards of us all. Every time we outrage conscience, we suffer. Every time we go against it, we regret it. And yet, in many cases, conscience is something we would love to forget. We wish we could go against it, because it interferes with so many things that we want to do. But what are the things that it interferes with? We now realize more and more that the things it interferes with are things that we should not do. And that the idea that it is simply a disciplinarian for no good reason, that it is a tyrant, simply cannot be sustained. It is also true that conscience is forever growing in a mysterious way, or appears to be. Whether it is actually growing is not so certain. Perhaps it is manifesting itself a little more all the time. Because things that we might have done at one stage of life without feeling a bad conscience become the source of conscience regrets if we grow older and commit the same actions. And if in any way the conscience does get adversely used, then we realize that there is a support in society for conscience. That conscience is tied into our legal codes, into our ethics, our morality, and all of our human relationships. It is tied into our sacraments and the qualifications of faith. It is bestowed in the problems of baptism, and it is with us in the last moment of extreme unction. The conscience is right there. And if we do really believe that it is there, and is our power of right, and is our ever-present strength in time of trouble, then it becomes a very valuable and important part of ourselves. Also, there seems to be some relationship between conscience now and conscience in the past. We seem to be born into this world on different degrees of conscience levels. Some have a higher standard of what is right than others. Some have one virtue, some have another virtue. And in religion particularly, the education of these virtues can be largely sectarian. Some religions consider virtues other things that we and other faiths believe to be vices. So conscience is related intimately to our own needs, our own degrees of understanding, our own insights into values, and the immediate problems that we must face on our own social levels. So let us assume for a moment now that conscience has become, say, the voice of the guardian angel. And it certainly can well be considered as such, because we know that these impulses arise, and we realize socially and otherwise that when we go against them, there is trouble. Now, if we go against them, this other little problem of the guardian on the threshold will come into focus. Once we begin to deceive or corrupt our integrities, it becomes easier and easier. And false guidance comes to us. A false guidance which is largely the result of the pressure from the outside, so that we divide between the guardian angel and the guardian on the threshold in this way, that one, the guardian angel, represents the descent of spiritual grace. The other, the guardian on the threshold, is a false concept or false standard of integrity that is built upon the contamination by worldliness. So one is a contamination and the other is a regeneration. The contamination part becomes more and more common. But as we watch around us, we
to jump to criminal or
federal. Federal,
immigration.
we're outside federal jurisdiction, so New York City is an autonomous zone.
I don't understand where the election results, the election and the sanctuary city. I don't understand the correlation, because the two really have nothing to do.
Certainly, I'll address both claims just now. One, it's a fact that President Abraham Lincoln was pretended by the entire South, the 6 states that illegally seceded the Union, and they were the wealthiest ones in our country because we were an agricultural country, similar to now we're a technology service-based business, and the most powerful... Hold on, I didn't interrupt you.
They were not the wealthiest in the country.
The country was an agricultural country back in when
Marshall, these random facts. You should just let him lay down these
Everybody mute up. Everybody mute up. Hold on. Please mute up. Marshall, I love you like a fat kid loves cake, but let the man land his plane, and then you can say what you want. But Dabby, before I hand the mic back to you, and I'm just, I'm trying to learn here. Eddie Gibbs got 22,000 votes. You got 3,300 votes. How is that? How did he steal 19,000 votes?
So Edward Gibbs, who was removed from the ballot by Will Lopez, who was removed from the ballot by Tamika Mapp, who was removed from the ballot by Eddie Gibbs, shows that all three of the Democrats removed each one of the other. And I was the only legal person to be voting on the ballot. And the judge refused to keep the court case like that, even though it was legal and closed. So the judge allowed Mr. Edward Gibbs, who is known to East Harlem, not the city comptroller office, known to East Harlem as, after living in Rikers Island for 6 years for murder, released, gave him the position of assembly. So, illegally having a position of assembly...
Dabby, I'm trying to get some context here. You're saying...
I'm just telling you what happened.
Okay, and I get it, but I need to, as you tell it, I want to jump in and ask questions, because some of it, I got to be honest.
But I do also want to finish up the president and also the sanctuary city.
Hold on a second. You're saying now that they released the guy who was on Rikers Island for 6 years, and they put him in the position of New York City Controller, which is the second most powerful position
No,
in the city.
Assembly. You said Eddie Gibbs, that was Assembly. Brad Lander was the election for New York City Comptroller. Edward Gibbs was the election in 2022 and also 2020 one at the end for a special election. Do you understand? I ran for New York City in office. In New York City, I ran for 6 offices over the course of 7 years. And I won 3 of them. I proved it.
Dabby, hold on.
Because-
Before you say you proved it, hold on 1 second.
Because
I'm
you
looking at-
can't
Okay,
have a
but
person
Dabby,
on
you
the
got
ballot after being removed.
Dabby, Brad Lander got 752,000 votes. You got 250,000. That's a 500,000 people difference. How is it stolen? I'm trying to understand.
Okay, I'll explain it to you. So this was an election in 2021, which was Black Lives Matter time period. Brad Lander is best friends with Bill de Blasio, who was unelectable. Brad Lander's been in office for 10 years and is not liked by any Democrat and didn't get any endorsements from Democrats except for the communists, as in AOC, Elizabeth Warren, and Bernie Sanders. He is a white Jewish man who is not supported by Israel and the Jewish people. In fact, the Jewish people ran rallies for me for weeks and weeks and weeks at all the synagogues and all the major places of interest and all the newspapers. I am a black man. I am a Hispanic man. Black and Hispanic men and black and Hispanic people did not vote against me to vote for Mr. Brad Lander, who they knew for 10 years as a white Jewish guy. 2 months before the election, I was doing rallies every single day for the mandate, as in opposite the mandate. Brad Lander demanded that every single person to keep their job in the city, 340,000 union members to keep their job, they had to take the shot. We all know that 150,000 union members left their job. They didn't vote for the person who said you're getting fired after we're clapping for them. Case in point, I walked over the Brooklyn Bridge with 50,000 people 2 weeks before the election with RFK Jr. I won the election for New York City Comptroller, and this is what I have to do.
Thank you for that, Dabby. Anybody have any questions for him?
I just like to say this. Debbie, you're the exact person the founders warned about. You're somebody who wants political ambition and political office so bad, they're willing to delude themselves, even when the vote block is 500,000 votes, that they somehow deserve the seat. You are the person incarnate from your political ambition that the founders warned about, that they compared to Aaron Burr. You are the person incarnate in city elections in your area that should never get any fucking where near power, because you have shown in your pursuit of power, you lack integrity, you lack honor, you lack
Marshall, that ain't you.
You are supposed.
Marshall, that ain't you. That's me. I can say that, but this isn't you. Don't go down that path.
I appreciate the compliments.
I don't think it's fair
I totally appreciate the compliments, considering that I've only done great things for the city. I've raised millions of dollars for the city. I actually spearheaded many different charities. I have a charity myself. I actually brought people out of homelessness. I protected young women and stood up for Asian Americans. I have done so many things for my city because I actually am not a narcissist, as you try to proclaim me to be. I'm an altruism. And that is what is completely mistaken. So let me also answer the other 2 things that we left open for the audience to hear. One was the conversation about Sanctuary City. And the first one was my point about what happened in our country, because a lot of people don't know the rules and laws that have been broken.
All right, but you could do that, Dabby. Dabby, you could do that, but you got a minute to do because there's other speakers. But
certainly, I think the most important thing I think I can mention is Sanctuary City, because that specifically belongs to myself. So New York City, people don't realize, when President Trump did the Coronavirus Relief and Economic Security Act, we got about $16 billion then. We have not gotten any other money from federal dollars since then. In fact, Eric Adams said that he missed his appointments with Mr. Joe Biden, the potato, because he's not actually a person that we think is in order, in charge, and everything else, as we are now realizing. Again, if we don't have implementation from the federal side, there's no money here. So we're living in our city with tremendous deficits. And that is all brought by people you think are rightfully elected who are not actually truly elected.
I mean, I just want to say that was a straightforward story, and I understand why the people of New York voted for you.
Well, let me say hello to Mary because she's been patiently waiting. What's up, Mary? How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I actually have known Dabby for years, and I have been in a lot of his rooms, and I 100% just think he's an amazing person. And I just think sometimes people just say things and they really don't even know who they're talking to. So I just want to say it's good seeing you, Dabby. That's why I came up to the top. Haven't seen you.
Love you too, Mary.
But good to see you, brother. Good to see you. And yeah, just sometimes people just run things and say things, and that's their opinion, but that's not everybody's opinion.
Well, wait a second. When he explained it so well, I mean, the sanctuary cities plus the union people leaving their job. I mean, clearly he was.
Hold on, everybody. Hold on, Dr. Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard Dabby speak. He very well may be an amazing person. I think what was drawn into question was the fact that whether, who won the election. And I'm not convinced of anything. I'm just, he's entitled to his take. But I don't think people were criticizing his character. They were really just criticizing the outcome of the election.
All good.
I appreciate that, and I wanted to also say, Mary, I do miss you, love you. I know your kids love you too, so we definitely got to make a meet-up one of these days, but I'll leave it to the next person in the room for popcorn.
Thanks.
And I appreciate the compliments across everyone, including for yourself, Marshall. I know when you're passionate, it's good.
Absolutely. Marshall's a good man.
Marshall, you're the best.
You rock, Marshall. Yes, you do.
Dabby, I shouldn't have said that, dude. I don't know you very well. I'll let my emotions get the best of me. Not cool to question your integrity or your honor. I'm sorry about that, dude. I won't do it again.
But like I said,
I hear you. Love. It's always important because this is how we always get truth and how we get more connection. I'm always open to hear everything and understand everything, and I'm always, going to tell people what has happened to me. It's hard because it's almost unbelievable what has gone on, but we're seeing it even here. So the conversation today, I guess I do a little healthy reset, is really the breaking news. Trump re-indicted, and it says Harris has her first interview. So there's an article posted at the top. I haven't gotten to read it, but it's interesting because it's talking about January 6th, and I was actually there January 6th, so I'm going to read this article.
Hey, Dabby, did Donald Trump endorse you?
General Michael Flynn endorsed me. President Trump did not endorse me. RFK Jr. endorsed me in New York City. Donald Trump did not endorse too many people in New York City at all. So I didn't actually want his endorsement the way I was looking to win all the election, because the reason why I won is because the people, same way that President Trump won against Hillary Clinton, people hated Hillary Clinton more than they hated President Trump. People hated Brad Lander more than they hated the fact that I was a Black, Hispanic, Latino from East Harlem, coming from welfare to become a multimillionaire who was a Republican.
You know what, Dabby? I'm going to push back just a little bit. Because we're both New Yorkers. And here in New York, I think race plays less of a part in politics than it does anywhere else in the world. We're a melting pot. If you're the best candidate and you're Black with pink polka dots, people don't give a shit. They're going to vote for you. So that race card, for me at least, it doesn't work. It doesn't.
I love that pushback. And you know what? I'm with you 100%. But something really crazy happened when they shut people down from their world in 2020 and people were expected to vote for election coming up after living in a world that was completely blocked out from information and staying away from everybody. And if you remember, there were people walking around the streets every single night in mobs, groups, hundreds of people. And what they wanted was what they wanted. And they were race baiting. And they were running they were painting the street every single day in different parts of the city, painting Black Lives Matter here, destroying and spray painting black people, Hispanic people, who were Republican or Democrat. They only voted for the color of the person's skin. That's how we got a black mayor. That's how they have a black public advocate. They didn't vote the Oreo cookie in a sense and vote for the Jewish guy who was anti-Israel, who was guaranteeing that the gifted and talented program was ending for the city of New York, as well as mandating that no one can go to a job without taking a prophylactic gene therapy, which caused half of the city workers to leave their job before their tenure.
I got nothing. If you guys want to go, be my guest.
I just want to say to some of the chat crabs in here, and Debbie, like, give me a second here, because I still have a question you weren't able to answer, but it's fine. I don't want to go back to it. For those attacking Marshall has been on this app for close to 4 years. He's been a friend of mine for 4 years. He's been a nice, honorable man. He has listened patiently. He has laughed. He has drunk. He has suffered. He's talked about his personal life and his feelings and shared it with absolutely everybody in this room. He has been called everything from a traitor to a piece of shit. He has been called everything from there. And many of us may not always agree with Marshall on some of his political views. In fact, we have discussions often. But what a lot of us don't like is when you twat waffles come into your chat crab feelings and your spirit fingers start kicking away and you start insulting the man based on nothing. The only reason I interfered was because I know where Marshall was about to go, because he has talks, and because Marshall's my friend. He has done the same for me on so many numerous occasions, I can't even count them all, because that's the type of man Marshall is. If anybody on this stage has any doubt, you want to know what a good guy is, what a good man is, then you look no further than Marshall, because on this stage, he's probably the best out of all of us sitting up here, and probably better than any of you in the audience. Particularly you chat crab warriors and spirit finger fucking macho tough guys in the chat. So just knock your shit off. Come for me. I like that shit all day long. I'll play in that pool. Marshall's not that guy.
I second what Brad said. To me, Marshall's one of the few people on this app that's 100% about integrity. So I don't understand why there'd be smoke towards Marshall. And you know what, people? If you would just dial it down a little bit and listen to Marshall, you may actually learn something. Novel idea in Clubhouse.
Just for the record, I was being sarcastic. Marshall was totally right about Dabby. Like, he's a wingnut who lives in a delusional world, and it's not surprising that Michael Flynn endorsed him.
Or you guys could attack Brian. Like, I enjoy that shit all day long.
Oh, Brent, yeah, Brent's easy to target, though.
Yeah.
So, I feel compelled to say something about Abraham Lincoln again. I don't know why, because I don't think Marshall should, fear anything from people who are chatting in the chat, because that's what happens in the world, Everyone has an opinion, people get passionate, and we just talk. So hopefully everyone should understand that, everything should be good and peachy king. The reason why I bring up Abraham Lincoln and the reason why I bring up fraud, because there clearly has been voter fraud in our country for some time now. I mean, if we don't want to call it voter fraud, I'll just point that election fraud that I proved when the three Democrats, like bozos, kicked each other off of the ballots because they knew the Democrat will win, so they kicked each other off the ballots. They left me.
Well, let's talk about Abraham Lincoln. How was the 1860 election fraud?
So that fraud was So when Jefferson Davis went to Capitol Hill after losing the election, said he was the president, he decided to pull a whole military, because he was the head of the military after being in Congress for many years, like a Mr. Joe Biden, and fight against the president who had the United States military. And the reason why he did that is because it's happening again. They're saying that they're going back to the original form of government in the United States, which is the Articles of Confederation, and removing themselves from the United States Constitution, which was illegal. And that's exactly what happened
just to get a breath, so I know this off the top of my head. Jefferson Davis wasn't even a candidate in 1860. It was Lincoln, Breckinridge, Douglas, and Bell. Was Breckinridge being kind of the Southern Democratic? So again,
so the president
yes, he was president of the Confederacy. He was not Excuse me. He was not a candidate for president in 1860.
That's who they elected as the president of the Confederate States.
But I asked you how the federal election in 1860 was fraudulent.
Okay, so you're talking about a different year. I'm talking about the year that they said that Abraham Lincoln was not the president, and why we had to have a war, because
you said
another person.
You said the president wasn't elected. Abraham Lincoln wasn't elected in 1860, and then you followed it up with Jefferson Davis, the person that was elected, came to D.C. and claimed
you gave the date.
What's sad is you don't know the dates of even the election you're talking about.
I didn't.
And you said, let me finish, sir. Let me finish, sir. And you said that Jefferson Davis, who wasn't a candidate in that particular election, came to Washington and said he was the president. So why did a candidate who wasn't even on the ballot in 1860 come to D.C. and claim he won?
You know what's beautiful here? It's sort of like you
don't know what the fuck you're talking about? Is that beautiful?
No, actually, I do what I'm talking about. Because, like I said before, you said the dates, and you tried to snooker in this kind of way because I didn't say anything.
It's called the election that Abraham Lincoln was fucking elected, and you fucking...
See, you don't seem to realize. When he was elected, they said that Jefferson Davis was the president of the Confederate States. So for many years
after they succeeded
in forming the Confederacy. I don't have to call you names because I know I'm right, and I know that you don't know what you're talking about. So you hence to go to name calling, which
Dabby,
shows your education.
Dabby,
so I'm just going to finish what I was going to say.
Hold on, I'll let you finish.
He brought the dates in here. I never said any dates.
Okay, hold on, Dabby. Let me just say this. I know Brent for a while. That's the first time I've ever heard him curse. Look at.
He probably cursed because he doesn't like myself as well, which is okay. I'm not worried about that. But you have to be precise when you say something. You brought dates in there. I never said any dates. I said when Abraham Lincoln was the president, they said he was not the president. The person they said was the president, they said was Jefferson Davis, which is known as the president of the Confederate States. And that's what happened. And you know what happened? He did it twice. He went to Capitol, raised his hand, and said he was the president. But guess what? After 13 days later, Abraham Lincoln was actually a real president.
All right, Dabby, hold on.
The problem is, people don't know their...
Here's the thing. We could do a history lesson, because if I'm going to get history, I'm definitely going to get it from Marshall. But let me just say this. If anybody in this room has no idea what the fuck they're talking about, please put a 1 in the chat, because I'm so lost and confused right now. Just put a simple 1. Thank you. Yeah, Dabby, go back to your...
Okay, so the point that I was bringing about Lincoln and why he was trying to bring back to the original form of government as the Confederate States, the Confederacy of the United States, under the Articles of Confederation, is exactly what's happening right now, because our founding fathers were so genius in how they devised our country. People don't realize that the United States of America actually started on June 15th, 1775, when the most powerful military force said, we're going to get a country, we're going to make a country. And they sent a man by the name of Benjamin Franklin over to France to get a check for 1,600,000 francs, and he came back with a 1 year, 1 day, and 3 day rescission period. So
you
1
still
year, 1 day,
haven't
3 day
answered the question
rescission. I am answering the question
of how Abraham Lincoln lost. the election, and there was voter fraud in that election.
He never lost the election because we know that Abraham Lincoln has always been the president, but for a period of time during the Civil War, half our country believed that somebody else was the actual president because they were going back to the original form of government, which was illegal. And guess what? It's happening here now, today, with Mr. Joe Biden, because Mr. Joe Biden did not win the election against President Trump. It was actually stolen, but there's a lot of people who say that it wasn't stolen, it was okay, and everything's
So
this.
did Abraham Lincoln win his election?
100%. That's why he's always known as the President of the United States of America. And Jefferson Davis will always be known as the Confederate president.
Dabby, hold on a second. And I ask you respectfully, right? Because like I said, I know you. I think you're a good dude. But
yes.
How was the election stolen from Donald Trump, in your opinion?
Well, there was many different ways. Mailing fraud, mail-in ballots, huge. In fact, I think I saw a documentary a couple of years before that proved all these mules and all these people bringing over votes, and guys, Roberta Freed with her purple shirt mailing in all these scanned ballots, and how they used these scanning things and the divots and pins, and guys driving over state lines from New York to Pennsylvania, Jesse the truck driver with hundreds and thousands of ballots. Pretty much the middle of the night, the election changed with a huge upturn for Mr. Joe Biden out of nowhere, and some counties voting, having more votes than registered voters and being counted. I mean, in New York City alone, there's 10,000 people who could be voting for Abraham Lincoln to this very day. The fraud is very real because vote harvesting became legal. Vote harvesting should not be legal.
Wait, hold on, Dabby. Would you consider yourself a Donald Trump supporter? Yes or no, Dabby?
I am supporting of the Patriot, and I'm going to say that
President yes or
Trump
no?
is a absolute rebel. But 100% I support President Trump.
Would you consider yourself MAGA?
Make America great again? Absolutely. I would say I would love America to be great again. And people misunderstand what make America great again means. And
no. When you say things like that, you're questioning people's intelligence. But I'm going to say this, and I say this respectfully. Everybody that's in this room listening, this is MAGA, people. This is what Donald Trump represents. But let me welcome Roger. Roger, you're back. Mazel tov.
I was just going to say that RFK said it. He had to redefine it the other day, and I thought it was important because he decided to do that, and it had millions of hits when he said what MAGA really means.
Hey, there were dead votes in that documentary. I know that. There were people that supposed to be all those hundreds of votes. People were actually dead, like if they're great.
Everybody, hold on. Everybody, hold on. Everybody, mute up, please. I want to say hello to Roger Mayhem. Welcome back, Roger. You've been missed.
Yeah. Look. If you're gonna try to take out the king, you better kill him, because I'm back and I'm more ornery than ever, and I don't care about these goddamn suspensions. I'm here to get permanently banned. We'll see how quickly we can do it.
Hey, Roger, how do you feel about Kamala Harris?
When Matt comes in, he's there for 2 seconds. He tries to gaslight.
I love Roger's take on Miss Harris.
You want him to get banned 10 minutes before he comes back, after he comes back?
Yeah, it'd be a record ban. It'd be a record time to be banned.
Give us half an hour.
Hey, I got a question. Is there anybody on this stage planning to vote for Kamala Harris?
I'm planning on voting for her.
Me too.
Should I answer so that it makes your blood pressure go up, or should I answer on?
Well, I'm throwing you up because you're an asshole.
I'm just trying to figure out if there's anybody on this stage right now that's fucking stupid. I'm searching for the 75 IQs. Who's voting for this dumb fucking cunt named Kamala Harris?
Wow.
Who's voting for somebody who is
Roger, you're
promising
going
20% 20% tariffs and political interference in the Fed.
20% tariffs is exactly how the United States actually started being a more than 700% GDP growth country in the world.
Well, hold on, Dabby.
Because
Dabby,
what happens
hold
is
on.
built
Dabby,
in
hold
the
on
United
1 second. 1 second. I promise I'll give you plenty of space to talk. Roger, are you familiar with Dabby Carreras? Have you guys ever spoken before, Roger?
I don't know. Does he have is this like a burner account for something else? I don't know. I would think
This is his account.
I would think that anybody that's on Clubhouse at this stage knows each other. It's kind of like living in a small town now because there's not many people left. Back in April of 2021, there was 10 million active users. What you see in this room in the hallway, that's pretty much all you fucking got. So if I don't know you, then you're probably no.
Well, Roger, I bring it up because Dabby ran for comptroller of New York City, lost by 500,000 votes, and claims that the election was stolen.
He works for New York City. Why you guys got so many fucking rats running around? So what the fuck? Can you guys get that rat problem under control?
Hey, Roger, you're going to love this. I won the election, but as you see, I was usurped, so I'm not in the office as you would understand it to be. So the problem for rats, you should bring it up to the people who usurped the election, who run our city purposely. In fact, the answer to, I think, what you really are asking about who'd vote for Kamala, I actually believe that they're trying to lose so they can actually cause problems that resemble what happened in our Civil War. Look at all the strife on our streets for no reason. Look at how we're pushing people against each other for no reason. Thank God there's things like Clubhouse actually help bring people together who may have arguments and disagreements. But again, I'm not voting for Kamala Harris, which is your question, but I will believe and tell you that I think they're not even trying to win. They're just trying to get people registered to vote because they already control the voting machine, and they're trying to raise money because
Dabby,
there's a lot of money.
Dabby, do you know Mark Rice? You don't have to mute up. You know Mark Rice?
Where's the bubble? I'm looking for Mark.
Oh, no, he's not here right now, but he's a congressional candidate.
Can I make something clear? I would rather lick King Kong Bundy's sweaty asshole than vote for Kamala Harris.
Isn't he dead? That's a lot of butt. It's a lot of kissing too, so.
What's up, Bo Raj?
Isn't King Kong Bundy dead, if I'm not mistaken?
Even better.
I don't know, but I wanted to say that tariffs are what built this country. That's why we build factories in the United States instead of building factories along the border of Mexico or in China. This is what you want. This is help keeps our intelligence, our know-how. You know, it's a sad thing to see what we're talking about with Roger.
More expensive.
For other countries, not for the United States.
No, not for us.
If you think that is the case, you're
it's not a that. You're thinking of that.
If you look at like a production of a microchip or production of any sort of high tech manufacture of any sort of high tech instrument, parts come from all over, and what you're going to impart in the supply chain of even some components of parts is very complicated. If you put a blanket 20% tariff on the economy, one, you're going to rocket up inflation, and then two, you're going to cause a massive disruption to the economy, which will be a recession. A tariff increases the cost of consumer will firstly increase the cost of consumer goods and drive inflation, and secondary, it will tank the economy. At least tariffs of that.
I love that you talk about finance. I actually have a license in finance. One of my clients is Mark Cuban. He does businesses internationally.
You also have a history degree in 1860s election.
Well, you decided to say that number. I said Abraham Lincoln. So
you said Abraham Lincoln cheated, and I said how did he cheat the 1860s election?
So you basically say a question that he was not in to try to Ponzi somebody into a thing, and I just remembered that you never. You gave that number, and I proved that
I
you
gave
tried
the year
to
date of the
Ponzi
election.
a person. See, I think it's interesting because when someone talks about education, and then I bring education because you try to talk about finance, and I actually know everything you're talking about, but I actually know it in deep, in depth, and I know the people directly. And I just want you to remember that you decided to say 1860s election. I only said
Well,
the election.
Hold on, Brent, hold on. Brent, hold on a second. I will say this about Dad because I've met him in real life. He is a money guy. He's a finance guy. So when you're going down that lane, at least show the respect that he actually is a money guy.
Again, to the question at hand about tariffs. Tariffs build our country, it keeps technology. One of the things why New York City is falling apart is because we were blessed with a high density of people with high level of skill. And when you take that away with these lockdowns and things like opposing dollars someplace else, well, guess what? We lose people. And that's exactly what happened when we lose the opportunity to force businesses to build cars here. Think about it. We might lose the entire EV business. Every single EV car might go to China because you won't be able to produce a car over here.
No.
Is that something that we want?
The lowest cost producer. You don't even know what you're talking about.
Actually, I do know what I'm talking about.
They build crap, and it's subsidized by the Chinese government. But that's okay. The consumer will decide.
Exactly. So if you want all the EV business to go to China where all the processing goes, then that's what's going to happen. It's going to make Elon Musk a very, very wealthier person, even more wealthier than right now. In fact, his partnership with NASA is going to do huge, which is locked up hard.
He has a $50 billion
equity in that.
He owns two
hold on.
pads
Gabby,
in Florida for the next 100 years.
Gabby, shut the fuck up. Hold on a second. I've been back for fucking 37 seconds, and already my fucking bullshit detector is going fucking bananas. Like, any time somebody pretends to be a motherfucking expert about something on here, it's almost always fucking incorrect. I mean, it's almost like, I'm going to ask you a few questions, Mr. fucking finance guru. Although I do have to order some food first. So my fat ass is going to go through a drive-thru.
I'm ready.
Order some food.
I'm ready all day long.
Hold on. Shut the fuck up. Hold on 1 second. When I'm done ordering food, I'm going to come back with a few questions, and we're going to see what a finance expert you are. And I hope you stick around. I hope everybody else does, because we're going to make a fool out of this clown that claimed to be an expert.
Could you elaborate?
This is basically setting him up for failure, right?
This is exciting to me because people today who stay here, I think people should really, pump up and start adding people. I'm not sure if he just muted me while I was saying something, but
he muted you. That means stop talking.
Bro,
well, then I'll take it away. No, I'm just joking.
Hold on. Let me just say this. This fucking room, I want you all to invite everyone you know, because this room is about to be fucking epic. I'm going to fucking call out this Dabby guy in a minute, and then I'm going to be calling out the big dogs. I'm going to be calling out Joe and Rohan and Paul motherfucking Davidson. We're going to call them all out tonight. We're going to start with Dabby. So you guys have fun for a second, and I'm going to go ahead and do my thing, and I'll be back in a minute.
Okay, so
right, wait. Nicholas the Great. Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on, I got you, bro. But I want to go to Eric first because Eric's been patiently waiting. And then I'll come to you, and then I'm going to go to Steve and Dr. Adams. Eric, how you doing?
Hey, man, I cannot wait. Welcome back, Roger. Glad to have you back. I want to hear more about Kamala Harris, too, and what he thinks. Did you guys talk about the fact that Kamala Harris is doing her first interview with Tim Walz by her side?
Yes, and it's also taped. Okay.
It's taped? Oh, see, there we go. But, yeah, this is, I almost have to wonder what kind of political play this is. It's almost begging for some sexist comments that they can feed off of. I don't know. It just seems like such a strange maneuver that they're gunning for something with that.
Thank you, Eric. Steve, how you doing, Steve?
Good, man. How are you?
Good to see you. Man, I'm fantastic. So, before Roger comes back, I'm going to ask you a quick question, because when Roger comes back, he's going to take over the room. What do you think about the new indictments, and what do you think about Kamala Harris doing her first interview?
Well, the fact that Kamala's doing it taped, I think, is a red flag. I mean, if you wanted to do some editing, then you'd say you got to tape it. That's kind of a red flag for me. I think this guy's trying to get Trump any way he can. I think he's turned himself in legal pretzels trying to make something stick to the guy. So that's my take on that. And I got to say, things Dabby was talking about, I didn't think, we're talking about 20% across the board, but if we're engaged in trade practices that are reciprocally unfair to us, I think we do need to look at it. We don't need to get taken to the cleaners all over the world.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate you. Hold on, Dabby. Hold on. We're going to go Nicholas, then Dr. Adams. The great Nicholas.
Oh, hey, everybody. I just had a couple quick comments. So I do think that it is interesting because actually Canada proposed putting tariffs of 80% on Chinese EVs. So we can literally just wait and see what happens in Canada to see whether or not it's going to raise the price. Also, if you have a domestic supplier that can fill that gap, there's no reason why it should lead to additional inflation. So I found that to be weird.
We do.
The second thing is the third thing is all right, I have a finance degree as well. I don't know everything about finance, so I agree with Roger with the bullshit detector. There's no way a single person can manage and be well versed in every aspect of finance, and I think you know that. So that's all I have to say. I'm here for the show.
Thank you, great Nicholas. And Roger's going to have a heated conversation with Dabby. Oh, Raj, hold on a second, please, because I have a few. I'm going to go. I got you. Oh, Raj, I got you. I promise. We're going to go Dr. Adams, then we'll go to Raj, and then I want to welcome Norm to the stage. Dr. Adams, are you there?
Oh yeah, no, I'm here. This is going to be epic. I would never claim to be an expert in anything other than how I like my own personal balls tickled. But I would be a better expert in that than Roger. But yeah, I'm definitely interested to see what questions Roger is going to ask. Roger is entertaining. I'm glad he has his account back, but I'm more interested to hear his roast of the other said people that many people on this stage are afraid to mention and not wanting to get their accounts clipped. But also, if anybody has any further evidence to prove that Kamala Harris is black when she is in fact not, I'm willing to receive that as well. But yeah, let the games begin.
Thank you, Adams. So hold on 1 second. We got Roger back, and I just want to make this announcement. Kelly will be back tonight as well.
Woo,
the whole
Kelly!
gang will be here. So hopefully Roger doesn't get clipped in time, where he at least says hello to Kelly. All right, Norm left. Hold on, what's happening? Speeding up, man. Let me go to Dude, and then Ferrari, and then Kool-Aid and Angel. Dude.
Yeah, so I just want to Is
it me, or did whatever Sky Daddy bless us with him being in the Matrix?
He's in the Matrix. Dude, you're in the Matrix. Yeah, you're in the Matrix. I'll circle back to you. Ferrari, what's up? Ferrari, are you there? Last call. There you go.
What's up, brother? How are you?
I'm all right. Did you want to chime in on this conversation, or you just want to hang out with the cool kids?
I would like to chime in. Can I talk some policies?
You can talk whatever you like, but people are going to push back. You got 1 minute. You got a lot of people.
All right. So look, I don't know a lot of Kamala policies, but look, President Trump has announced all military members who were discharged for refusing the COVID mandate will be reinstated and receive full back pay, along with the formal apology from the United States government. All right. Trump will reportedly make it a felony for any medical professional to perform surgery on a minor without parental consent. 10-year minimum mandatory sentence for anyone guilty of human smuggling. Mandatory life sentence for anyone guilty of child trafficking. Death penalty for anyone guilty of sex trafficking. Death penalty for major drug dealers and traffickers. These are some big policies. Now, on the other side, I said, what is Kamala gonna do? Oh, no tax on tips. So it's like, man, it's like black and white. There's no gray area. And every day we're seeing new news coming out. So just yesterday, Mark Zuckerberg said that he was pressured into hiding things on Facebook.
How many points is this guy gonna fucking make?
Via
Enough
the
so
Harry-
nobody can respond to them coherently, Roger.
Wait, hold on, everybody. Everybody, hold on. Roger, the room is yours.
Yeah, Dabby, I got a question for you. Can you explain in detail what the disposition effect?
No, I'm not sure what you mean when you say disposition effect. In regards to what?
I thought you were a finance expert.
I have a license. I didn't say I'm an expert. What Jay said is that I'm a money man. I know my money. I actually ran for comptroller and I run a book of business. So if I'm supposed to know every single thing,
Debbie,
I would point
you literally used the word expert.
I did not. You should make sure you know verbatim what people actually say.
You
'cause
said I'm
I
a
don't.
financial expert.
Okay, so again, what I was finishing up saying is even Alan Greenspan can't even answer all the questions that are going on. In
But
fact,
this is a pretty basic
he would
one.
say-
I'm asking you what the disposition effect is. Are you telling me you're not even familiar with the term?
do you want me to look it up so I can tell you exactly? Is that what you're asking
No,
for?
you can look it up all you want. I'm just kind of curious why you don't know what it is if you're a financial expert.
I'm a licensed broker, and I run a book of business.
That's like
So
a fucking
before,
licensed
when the-
massage therapist telling you what she knows about the fucking anatomy of a fucking body, when really all she is there for is a happy fucking ending. You
So do you
don't know
think
what the
that every
fuck you're
single
talking about.
doctor?
You
so
don't
you
know
think
what
that
the fuck
every
you're
single
talking
doctor
about.
knows everything
No,
about
you
medicine?
don't know what you're talking about. Listen.
Do you understand that?
Listen.
No.
I'm
You can
throwing
keep
out-
on cursing
hold on.
at me. I know that the room likes curses. I don't have to ever get loud and cursing. It doesn't get a rise at me.
You identified
I
yourself
have
as an
hundreds
expert.
of people every single day who I raise millions of dollars for cursing me too.
I guess you've never
But
been
again, do you think that every single doctor knows every single thing about every single medical term out there? Do you go to the ophthalmologist and say, hey, do you know how to fix my foot?
Okay,
Not
you're
every
gonna
single
fucking mute
person in
yourself.
finance does.
Okay, I'll bring you back up. Listen, if we're gonna have a conversation, you said you were an expert. Now, if somebody positioned themselves as an expert in something, you mentioned a doctor. If somebody said that they were a ear, nose, and throat doctor, I would probably think that I could ask them questions about allergies and they might know something about it. I'm throwing simple baby fucking softballs at you and you don't even know the fucking basics. If you don't know the basics, you don't know dog shit. Listen, this app, it breeds fucking LARPers that like to pretend that they're a fucking expert in something. And all I have to say is I asked you one question and we proved conclusively that you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. In fact, you've even backed yourself off of the fact of calling yourself an expert. And I think that's progress and we're going to acknowledge that. Because this room is not about you, my friend. This room is about the fucking dumb motherfuckers that built this fucking app. These dumb motherfuckers that ruined this fucking app. And I'm going to call them out by name. Like that cocksucker fucking Paul Davidson. Can we start with Paul Davidson is a fucking cocksucker? Can we start with that? Does anybody want to fucking jump in and tell me what they think of the cocksucker Paul? Nobody wants to speak up. This is just me. Listen, go watch fucking Spartacus and get back in this fucking room. I don't need any fucking pussies on this.
Is that the depth that you're going to go to with Dabby? Like, you're not going to go any further than that and then just go towards cocksucker?
Well, does Dabby want to come back up? Hold on, let's bring Dabby back up. Oh, Jeremy's up here? That's another fucking imbecile. What the fuck? What the fuck is wrong with this room tonight? There's beautiful people that are in the fucking... Listen, I'll calm down if the nice people come up. Hold on. Let me bring up Miriam because she's nice. I like Miriam. Let me look around. I'm gonna bring up Darren. He won't say anything. He's fucking quiet.
Hey, Rob, dude,
Hold on.
Are they convicted felons?
Hold on. I'm looking in the audience. I'm
What
bringing up
drugs
nice
did you
people.
take today, Roger?
Oh, hold on. I'm bringing up nice people. I brought up Rowan. Oh man, I got to get him to say no in aluminum, and that will make my fucking day. Let's see. Cherry had her hand up and then pulled it down. I don't know what she's trying to tease me or something.
Look,
let's see. We're gonna bring up Rooster. Rooster's my homie.
I'm an expert. I don't know. You're looking for an expert.
Hold on. Let's bring on Christian Lamar. He's an expert in all things Trump. This ought to be fun. We'll bring that guy.
In case anybody was interested or looking for, I'm an expert breakdancer. So if anybody needs somebody, then let me know.
Rohan, is that an Australian breakdancer? Just like the Australian?
That's it. Yeah.
What do you guys think about the policies I listed for Trump? I got no pushback.
Nobody knew what the fuck you were talking about because you fucking said 17,000. Listen, I'm going to give you a fucking tip. When you're on Clubhouse, don't go through a fucking list of things, okay? And if you are going to have a list, make it a short fucking list. How about 3 things? No, listen, our attention span is fucking short as fuck. That's why we're on this fucking goddamn app. This stupid fucking inferior app built by cocksucker Paul Davidson. That's who built it. Paul Davidson, the cocksucker.
But Rod,
what did Paul Davidson do? Did he give
felon? That's what I want to know.
Did Paul Davidson give Biden a backdoor into the Clubhouse too? What'd you find on it?
So it went over everybody's head?
Oh my God, this fucking guy is talking.
Yeah, that was it.
Listen, not everybody gets a fucking speaking role tonight. Ferrari, you're going to the fucking audience. I'm replacing Ferrari with whoever raises their hand next. Let's see. Anybody want to raise their hand, they can come up. But I'm going to tell you who's not coming up. Ferrari is not coming up because he's fucking boring. Slacker's up.
You got Jamaican.
All right, now we're bringing people up. All right, here we go. I want to ask Christian Lamar. Christian, listen, I don't like Trump. I think he's a piece of shit. But beggars can't be choosers, and we're in a fucking weird situation, and we can't let that commie cocksucking bitch Kamala Harris in the fucking White House. Can I get an amen, Christian? Amen.
Of course. I'm not sure what there is to really talk about. You have a person who you basically have a typical politician that is taking Trump's policies and making hers. She laughed at people who were incarcerated when they really shouldn't have been incarcerated. She had the chance to get them out, and she left them in there. He couldn't win any primaries. They had to hand her the nomination. I'm not really sure what to really. There's really nothing to talk about. But there are people that will act. Why aren't more people in jail? Because you got liars, living lawyers. They're synonymous in my mind sometimes. They can get them out of it. And it comes to mind of Judge Roy Wynn. Some of you may be familiar with. We talked about it back in the clubhouse days. In quantum syntax grammar, of how courts really don't have jurisdiction over people. A lot of people are seeking status as being sovereigns because they don't submit to being subject to jurisdictions as we understand common law or even constitutional law. But there's maritime law that's a whole different thing. And it's just understanding your status or even having attorneys that can defend you or protect you, or even people that are traveling sovereign status from another country. Somebody from Dubai, for example, going to visit England or coming to the United States, they have different levels of law that might govern their just ability to travel. And a common citizen here in the United States, where I am at, where we actually have people, former IRS agents, that are coming out saying certain things that we tell most law-abiding citizens that are legal or illegal. But there are different statutes that apply to someone else who is sovereign and understands jurisdiction. So I can see where lawyers would have value in terms of representing their clients in court and getting them out of court cases and finding legalese. For example, you can take the COVID thing. You know, we could debate not to get stuck on COVID, but just an example of how all that legalese just riveted right up all the way up to the United Nations, and they're all complicit in illegal activity. But at the end of the day, there's a moralistic truth to a human being, I think, and that is an unjust law is no law at all. But we get foisted until they accomplish whatever those liars petition the courts to agree with and convince the populace to go along with. Yeah, case in point, what's happening in Gaza is legal, you know, and we should never forget that everything that Hitler did in Nazi Germany was legal. So liars really are valuable for people that have nefarious means to basically subvert what would be.
Because I was.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was struck by that. I mean, he actually got that interview out about lawyers.
Okay, this is the Roger Mayhem podcast. I hope you enjoy. Oh shit, they shut the room down. Okay, this is the Roger Mayhem show.
People are forgetting really how much Trump spent on lawyers, money, and how much they're gonna fine him. So where should someone else get money? Well, not. He cannot use that for campaigns, violating rules, and so that's important that people are forgetting how much Trump spent on lawyers to just protecting himself. He will spend probably more. So even just the one state ballot in the federal judge district took it $10 million. How much will cost go all the way up to Supreme Court?
it is a good point. I have had attorney friends, lawyers, and it's probably the best case I could share with you, a personal case. Gentleman, Dr. Boyd Gray, he was a black gentleman who actually, he broke the case on hate. He went to the Library of Congress, and he discovered the patent, the books, the annual reports, where the United States, with other countries, had actually developed, not only did they develop AIDS and found it in their annual reports, but he also found the year after they published AIDS, that they came back in the next annual report, they actually had the formula for the cure for AIDS. And I had conversations for several months with Dr. Boyd because I couldn't believe it at first. But then they began to blackball and humiliate him by submitting a report, which started was the draft, so that he could afford to go out and share this information. And he spreaded it, and it got to the point that he couldn't own a car, he couldn't get a job, he was blackballed out of work for years. But the simple strategy was, or amongst the other strategies that he said was, and that's just one way that they operate, was to get a good lawyer, a good law team, and I don't know who all kind of gets kicked back to. But they just stick a pack of dogs on you to discredit you, and then they just have your assets and you never follow. Somebody had shot him with a microphone in his chest. And I didn't hear from him for almost 4 weeks. So he almost went blind.